10 o'clock, this is Sky News at 10, our top story. The UK stalls as heavy snow causes widespread disruption across large parts of the country. Flights are grounded and motorists are left stranded, and there are warnings tonight of more freezing temperatures and a nightmare morning commute. Also ahead, so much for the Brexit thaw. A new row brews with Dublin over the Brussels agreement as the government says it's not binding. Renewed hope for Nazanin. A court appearance is postponed in Iran for the jailed British mother after a visit by the Foreign Secretary.
I mean, I don't even like to look at the tower now, and I try to avoid any sort of, contact with it as much as I can because it hurts.
Should the Grenfell Tower remain standing? We hear from those who live within its shadow. The disgraced celebrity publicist Max Clifford dies after collapsing in prison. And we'll take a look at tomorrow's front pages in the press preview at 10:30. Hello, good evening. It's been a day of disruption and travel chaos with heavy snowfall blanketing large parts of the UK, closing roads, airports and shutting down parts of the rail network. As much as 32 centimetres of snow fell in some parts, with South and Central England and North Wales amongst the worst affected. And there are warnings tonight of more to come, with forecasters predicting a nightmare morning for commuters as temperatures plummet, leading to icy and treacherous conditions. More on that in a moment. First, though, our correspondent Tom Parmenter reports on the snow and ice bringing parts of the country to a standstill.
The recovery operator, probably off traction.
These are the shifts that the highways teams relish and remember. The forecasts delivered on their promises. So Britain's arteries through the Midlands were soon choked with snow.
This is about as serious as it gets, isn't it?
It can get worse, but we're on the move, and Britain is moving as we speak, and that's what we're after, isn't it?
Are you confident of keeping them going, Bob?
Always.
Really?
Always. We are confident all the time.
The network was quickly littered with jackknife lorries, stranded cars and windscreen wipers giving up in the cold. It wasn't long before we found our first crash.
One car involved, one person who's on the ambulance. He's not injured at all.
Oh, right, so it's not injury then?
No, it's just the hazard of the car, really. That's all they're waiting for, really. And then they could possibly drop him at the services.
Okay, well, typical of what we'd expect to experience in this type of weather. Driver loses control and hits either the centre barrier or the near side barrier. Luckily, in this case, there's no injuries.
All of the patrol teams now are flat out. It's one of the busiest shifts that they can remember for years here in the Midlands. And while it may look beautiful here along the side of the M6, it doesn't take long. We found yet another vehicle stranded, children on board, trying to get up to Stoke-on-Trent.
This time, a puncture.
We've gone over a piece of ice and I think it's shredded my tyre.
And it's just horrible to be stuck like this, isn't it?
It's absolutely freezing. It's absolutely freezing, and with the kids as well, it's not. My hands are purple.
Scary?
Very, yeah, scary. Not nice.
The minor roads were quickly swallowed up. Some villages were simply cut off. The central belt of Britain, from the Peak District down, had up to 20 centimetres in places.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Doesn't happen all too often, so obviously we've got to take full advantage of it when you can.
We've just been for a walk and everybody's fallen over in the sledges and we're not getting in that fun, so we're just going for a walk and now I'm going to warm myself up with a wine.
Snow Sunday may have been a lot of fun here, but temperatures are falling away. -9 predicted in some parts of the West Midlands tonight. The Monday morning commute, if you are going in, will not be easy. Tom Parmenter, Sky News.
These are the latest weather warnings in place for tomorrow. Yellow weather warnings have been issued for Northern Ireland, Northern Scotland, Wales, the Midlands and South East England. Although there may be some snowfall in the South East, ice is expected to present the greatest danger as temperatures fall overnight. The Met Office is warning there's a good chance that some rural communities could become cut off. So what can commuters expect? Well, drivers are being warned of treacherous conditions, with ice and snow forecast to cause further disruption for commuters. The RAC has described it as Black Monday. It's expecting 11,000 breakdowns. Dangerous ice and snow conditions are expected in Birmingham and London. Expect delays on the trains too. East Midlands commuters have already been advised to check before travelling in the morning. All UK airports have now reopened, but severe delays and cancellations are expected to continue. Many flights from London Heathrow in the morning have already been listed as cancelled or delayed. Birmingham Airport is also urging customers to keep an eye on flights scheduled for tomorrow. And Ryanair have announced the cancellation of numerous flights. Hundreds of schools around the UK will also be closed on Monday. All council-led schools in Birmingham will shut, keeping 200,000 children at home. The majority of schools in Buckinghamshire, Shropshire, Monmouthshire, Wrexham and Essex have also confirmed they will shut. Well, Laura Bundock is at a gritting depot in Slough in Berkshire for us this evening. And Laura, I guess a busy night ahead for workers there.
Yeah, very much so here, and I think at pretty much every gritting centre across the country. Here in Slough, the lorry behind me has already done one round. It's been out, it's gritted the secondary roads, the smaller roads. It's just been loaded up again. And if you look at the top of the back of the lorry, you can see the salt there piled up. It's due to go out, and now it's going to go and tackle the primary roads, so some of the bigger roads. It's one of 2 lorries this centre has. They'll be going out throughout the night until around midnight. Slough has something like 102 miles of primary, of secondary roads to grit, and that's when they come back here. They'll be waiting to see what the weather does. Take a look around. If we swivel the camera around, you can see here is the salt that is left. There's some 80 tonnes here. It doesn't look like much, and it isn't, because they've been using so much. They reckon they've got about 4 days of salt left here. They're basically waiting to see what the weather does come about 3 o'clock in the morning. It depends how cold it gets. It's been a bit drizzly tonight. That may well turn to snow, and that's when the problems could start. So the gritting could well continue into the early hours of the morning. One of the big problems is that the snow around here has been melting. Once these roads get wet, that can then freeze again and turn into black ice, and that's what causes the big problem. So there's lots of warnings out tonight for people to be aware, because the gritters can't get to some of the roads. And of course there are many homes, some 18,000 of homes across the country, still without power as a result of this. So the chaos will definitely continue into the morning.
OK, Laura, thank you. Well, snow bomb, that's the Metro's headline tomorrow. It's also reporting on the biggest fall in house prices in 5 years. We'll be taking a look at all the front pages at 10:30 tonight with the Deputy Political Editor of HuffPost UK, Owen Bennett, and News Editor at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Kate Andrews.